Alright, everyone, it's Pete Los with another beat breakdown. This is my third time recording this, but this one's going to be great. I can tell it already. Today we have 614, aka Looping. It is a Dean Blunt tight beat that people seem to like. Had a couple people record on it. They sound amazing. I think the beat sounds amazing. Let's hear it. Damn it. Let's hear it. And one thing we'll be focusing on today is just how simple this beat is. There's really only 3 tracks. There's a fourth, but that's effects, right? But we have a lot of layers. The drum has 2 layers, additional layers. The music has 1 additional layer. Then we got 2 different reverbs. We got things making stuff sound wide, nice and saturated. And when it's all together, it sounds just real nice. The perfect amount of stuff is going on. So this beat just loops. There's some different drum cutouts here and there, but you've gotten the gist of it. So I'm going to start with the drums. We have a drum loop from Splice. Very simple, very great. This is what it sounds like dry. Whoa, excuse me. Right. Great drum loop. A lot of good variation. We got this cool pause coming up. All I did was cut some highs. I set it to a summing bus, which makes more sense when I have, other samples than just one, or different, MIDI too, but this is just the template that I had. It's going into a console strip, cutting off the lows, cutting off the highs, pretty aggressively. Oh no. Too aggressively, apparently. Way too aggressive. Wow. Man. That's a bummer. We'll be back up in no time, though. Auto-saved. Yeah. All right, where was I? We were talking about drums. We just have this console strip cut off the lows and the highs, not doing too much crazy work here, and then some soothe, cutting out some of that annoying mid stuff. But here's where the magic starts. We have our sends coming from the drum sum, right? We have the drum effects, so let's hear this. It's a nice wide sound. It's dark too, which is a cool way to add width. Kind of sounds like someone's beatboxing, and I think it's a really nice, effective layer here. So let's cut the drums back in. And now without, with. So it sounds like something's like splattering now on those snare hits especially. And then we have a pretty weak parallel drum track. Honestly, not a lot of compression going on. I'm not doing anything with this EQ, but just adds another texture on something that we're already hearing. Might be subtle, but little things like this add up. So next we have the bass. It's a simple 808 pattern. And this just repeats the whole time, right? It's a 4-bar loop, and we keep the first 2 bars open, and then we add some more rhythm here on the second leg. and I think it pairs very nicely with the 2-bar sample loop that we have. So not much going on here, not doing anything with the EQ. We are using the Ramzoid and Sky Studios 808 Cooker. Great plugin. Sky Studios makes really good plugins. They have Sky Keys, which you can get for pretty cheap. I got mine for like $5, I think, when it was first coming out, but I think it can't be any more than 10 or 20 bucks. Bunch of presets that sound great and a great user interface. But we picked a pretty clean, bouncy 808. Not a huge tail on it. We did add some width and some zoidage, some zoid. I think it's just like a 200 or 300 cut and something maybe else that I can't really perceive. But all together now, the drums. One thing to note, in this one, the drum sum and the low end are going to the mix independently. I'm not grouping them together before. So pretty nice. And as always, these are going to some reverbs. Well, actually, only the drum sum is. That's why I split them up. The bass here isn't going to the 2 reverb tracks that the music and the drums are going to. Cool. Now we have some sound effect I like to use. It's an Alchemy preset called Soundscape 1992, and it has a lot of cool things going on. It's like tonal, so I like to just put it on the root note of whatever key I'm in. And then there's a lot of cool like voice and radio sounds and some panning and some like rhythmic elements too. So it's very useful, very fun effect to use either as an intro sound or outro sound, or even throughout your beat if you keep it pretty low. So really fills out the beat in a cool way. All right, let's talk about the music now. So we have a sample here from a Italian library sample. I'll just play a little bit here. I took this whole sample and just reversed it. It's not the loudest. Oh, bummer. Hold on. Wait a minute. Oh. There we go. Sorry. So kind of quiet here, unfortunately. But really all this sample is some dude ripping on a piano, just noodling away. Presumably he's Italian, so that makes it more cool. But this is what it sounds like non-reversed, right? Let me go here. Sorry, it's been quiet. So, what did I like about this sample? You might be wondering. One, not a lot of instruments going on. Really cool tone. It just sounded good. You need to listen to the whole thing to know that I would be able to find at least a one shot that I would want to use just because the tone sounds that good. And then the loose playings gives me a lot of options, right? When it's just some dude ripping on a piano or flute or whatever, they're going all over the place, right? And then through MIDI, you can kind of tame it and put it on time. And then even if it's reversed, you can make it sound, like you could throw some hip hop drums on it, right? So I was able to tame it by doing some, repeated notes here. So it just pulls it back when it starts to go astray, right? And it adds some cool rhythm to it too. So I think it pairs very nicely with the bass here because that's a 4-bar loop. This is a 2-bar loop. You get this nice kind of push and pull of not a lot of stuff happening rhythmically, and then a lot of stuff happening, right? Both the bass and the sample start off pretty open in that first bar, but then the sample adds some rhythm. The 808 still isn't doing anything. Then the 808 starts to do more, and so doesn't the sample at the same time. So this 4-bar loop sounds very interesting because each bar is different. So it just rides pretty well. So let's see if we can't kind of hear that here. Sorry. Let's go. Okay. There. Right. It really makes that 2-bar loop very nice on the ears. I repeat that for the whole beat, and it doesn't get too tiring. So, what effects do I have on it? Just cutting out some of the lows, letting the bass do some work, and cutting out some annoying stuff up here that builds up when you reverse stuff. Next, just I think a high pass EQ that I automate for the intro, just to have like a cool filter effect going on, and then some nice vintage opto style compression. What is that? The L1A1 or something, something Call of Duty gun. LA2, right? Something like that. Compressor, very smooth. Also helps with the spiky reverb, reverse bits, right? And then we're blending in some dry hair, only 25%. And then we also have a FX bus, just like we did with the drums. Here, cutting out some more lows to get it ready for pitching it up. It's nice to clean out some of those lower frequencies before you pitch it up, because it's just going to sound like awful. It's going to sound like dirt. And that's all going into a effect rack preset with some echo, delay, and some panning. So let's hear this soloed. So it's adding kind of like a digital breakup kind of thing. We never really want to hear it too much. We just kind of want to feel it, right? Just the width that it brings. So let's just do with it. This is without it. And mind you, we also have the filtering going on here. But oh, I sense a crash coming. Oh no. Right, and then we're gonna sorry, we're gonna add it. Right. All in the name of width. Nice width. Different types of width. And it's nice when you break out your music and your drums, because when you want to add width to these things, you probably don't want to do it in the same way for both. So by having the individual summing buses here, I can add width to them in a way that makes sense for the different elements, right? Especially with the drums, you want to be careful with that, because you want to maintain that nice low end, especially, in my opinion. Anyways, onto the mix. Just some pretty, broad soothing going on here. We're toning out those lows, toning out those highs. Just parts where it can be annoying. I like to mix into this preset. It's only mixed at 25%. Especially nice when I'm monitoring with my speakers here, just because my room isn't that great. So I like to kind of remove those frequencies. We have a nice clean compressor going on here. We're ducking quite a bit. -6, low ratio, medium low ratio. and just kind of, gluing everything together. This is without it. Beefing it up. And we're going to turn it on. No? We're trying to match the output here, right? I think it does a good job. It does what I need it to do. So. And then lastly, we have the God particle. Just using this to add some more width and saturation to everything. And also it has a nice output knob, so I can set it to a nice level, so I can to send out stems and an unmastered beat to folks if they want this beat. One thing I skipped over, but I always use this massive bus 2 on the black box, mixing about 50%. And let's hear what taking away these two do. Right. Add the black box. No way. Yeah, adds a nice kind of rattle too, I think, to the 808, or at least brings it out. And then God particle. We'll toggle this on and off. Yeah, so I cut out the mids a bit, not too much, but I feel like that is coming through. I can hear that, I think. Yeah, and then just on the mastering here, I like this EQ. Just wanted to bring out some lows and some highs. Tone up my mids a bit, but nothing much. And then just the mastering preset by Assistant by Logic, just to get it up to the easy way to get it up to volume for YouTube. And yeah, so that was the beat. I hope it was a good example of being able to use a few tracks to make a full and nice beat to listen to. So you can always layer stuff. It's right there all the time. Before maybe going to a new sound, like a new synth, or even a different drum. Maybe just make a new bus, pitch the octave up, add some effects to it, see what that sounds like. It's a good way to kind of keep your song moving along and add intensity to places in a very easy and seamless way. So especially important for these deep blunt beats, type beats, excuse me, because they're simple, but you could listen, they could loop for an hour and you wouldn't get tired of them. So yeah, when I'm trying to make a deep blunt type beat, or if I'm thinking of what to label a beat, because usually I'm not thinking about what type beat beforehand, but yeah, that's the elements I think of. It's very simple but full, right? And you achieve that by trying to make the most of your tracks before adding something else, or maybe adding a bunch of stuff and then cutting out a lot at the end, right? There's multiple ways to do it, but simpler the better sometimes. So yeah, thank you for watching, and hopefully we'll make some more. Thank you. Bye bye.